morning, everyone. My name is Mohammed Ali. I am a co-founder of CyberWaze. Today, I have a very special guest, Ms. Shamila. How are you?
I'm good, very well, thank you.
It's been a pleasure to have you, and we are planning for this since long.
Thanks for having me.
And finally, we are having this podcast. So, just introduce about yourself. What are you doing, and what's your role?
I'm Shamila Nawaz, as you probably know. I'm the CEO of Small Steps Learning Difficulty Center. My journey probably started with, it wasn't like a business model or something, but it just started because of my son's journey, my struggles as a mother. I couldn't find anything for him over here in Dubai, and so like they say that, and I love that phrase as well, the necessity is the mother of invention. And I feel that this is what happened with me as well, that Small Steps is actually born out of my struggles altogether.
Well, that's great. And so, as you mentioned about the journey started with your son. So, tell me more about Small Steps Big Dream and how it started. And of course, your son motivates you to start this company and playing this role. But how it started and how you decided at that time that you want to have this company and being an entrepreneur and all those journeys and all those challenges. So just highlight something about it.
Well, my son got diagnosed at the age of 3, and I was really struggling to find something for him. So the challenge wasn't that he got diagnosed, but the challenge was to find him the right provision for him. He was getting rejected from several schools in Dubai. I couldn't find anything for him. The only part where where I could put him was a center. It wasn't like there was no bridge towards the inclusion, and I wanted him to be part of the inclusion, to be part of the schools. And that's how Small Steps started, because I just didn't want him to be isolated from the society. I wanted him to be part of the school where he could just get the academic support. The inclusion would be perfect for him, where, we could work on his skills which he lacks in. I think all the parents who are really looking for something like this, work with their challenged children, they can have that support. So yes, this is how Small Steps started, because we are still struggling. It's been almost nine and a half years now. We're still struggling to kind of meet that bridge, and I think we have done a lot of things, to build that gap in the middle. But at the same time, I feel that, that we still like kind of improving ourselves and going to different schools altogether.
When you're talking about autism and you mentioned about your son's condition and that inspired you, tell me more about, and the audience wants to listen about what is autism and how it developed, how this behavior, and how the normal people, the parents, came to know that the child is suffering from autism. What are the initial indicator points, if you can just mention that?
Of course, it's autism is a behavior, it's a spectrum. And children who are on the spectrum, they look at the world really differently. There is no such thing as normal or abnormal. They ain't abnormal at all. It's just that they learn things, they see things in a very different manner. They're just like us, but they're little different from us, So it's a really, really big umbrella where they have like ADHD, the children who have dyslexia. There's lots of things which comes under that umbrella of autism spectrum disorder. My son is one, and there are plenty of children out there. Now people are getting to know, it's not that people didn't know about this before, but it's more and more awareness which is coming, and more people are getting to know about it. They're doing more diagnosis, and that's how we're getting to know that, if there is a red flag like that, we have to cater the needs of those children. In the old days, people used to say that, maybe he's a little different, maybe, he's abnormal, or he doesn't have that brain function, let's just keep him away from all the other things, maybe he's never gonna. But now people are getting that awareness that it's just not that situation, it's just that you start to see the red flags, and as soon as you see the red flags, you just start to do that intervention, which is like giving them the proper therapies. We give ABA therapy, which is applied behavior analysis therapy. It works really well. And now that people are getting to know, of course, we need more and more interventions in the schools, and then use the resources to help and support those families and children.
That's going to be my next question. As you mentioned that the intervention of schools and the collaboration, which is very important. So what small steps, initiatives, and of course there must be a lot of collaboration in the industry you are doing.
Yeah.
So how the awareness, what you are doing. So can you just highlight about this collaboration and journey with different industries which you are doing now?
Right. So the best scenario is to have these centers within the school setting. Most of the parents who come from different countries, most of them, they're moving. Dubai is like always something is going on. People are coming, people are going. It's like always happening. So most of the parents who actually come, they'll have, they get lost in the middle of the academic support and the therapy centers, because there is, like I said, there is no bridge in the middle. What we kind of put that bridge in the middle where the children can come to the mainstream school and get the therapy and support within the school setting. So that's what we are doing. Small Steps is part of, at the moment we are in 6 different mainstream schools where we're giving therapies to children with learning difficulties in the mainstream on the premises, so the parents don't have to take their children for a therapy outside somewhere, but actually get the support and the academic support, not just the therapies, inside the mainstream, which works really well because these children are the ones who get rejected, and school doesn't have the resources to cater the needs. And that's where we come in. We give them the therapy, we teach them daily living skills, social skills, how to be with other children, and at the same time we give them the support, like academic support, where we take them into the mainstream classes, and they can get the academic support there. So it's everything under the same roof, which works really well for children on the spectrum.
And this idea, of course, which you mentioned, that I think there must be a lot of courage and working as a mainstream school. And with courage and all this innovation comes with a lot of challenges.
Yes, of course.
So if you can highlight what basic challenges and top 3 challenges you face till now, of course in a mainstream working, and bringing that mindset with the parents and with the trend. So just highlight some challenges which you face and how you overcome that.
That's a really good question, because there are challenges in everything, in all the businesses, and of course there are challenges which we face as well. Initially we faced the challenge of acceptance. People never touch this topic or a subject, or they were in denial that anybody needs something like this in a school setting. Why would they need an inclusion? Why would they need a center like this, inside the school? I mean, there are centers in healthcare cities, there are other centers who are giving ABA therapy. Why the need of having a centers within the school? That's number one. So it's just giving the awareness and telling the parents and the people that this is really important to have that, so we can support the children. Number 2 is the denial of the parents, that there is something wrong with their child. There is a red flag which they need an early intervention for it. In old days, even my I don't want to say my dad, but my dad was also one of them, because he didn't have the awareness. He used to think that it's really nothing, you just make them play with other children and he'll be fine, like he used to say about my son. But now he understands this concept. He understands that that yes, it was needed, the intervention was very much needed. So parents to know about all of this and understand the fact that just playing with other children or just leaving it, ignoring it, is not going to work. You just do need that intervention. And of course the finance, the third is the finance situation. It's not easy in Dubai to run any centers like this, especially affiliated with the schools, in the mainstream schools. So the struggle was real, but alhamdulillah, we're doing really well now.
That's really inspiring, I must say. And yes, you mentioned about when you are working with mainstream, the acceptance and the other parents, and that must be the challenge, which is of course, after this podcast, people will listen and they will understand how important it is. So when you talk about the challenges and the innovation, and then comes the technology.
Yeah.
How important it was, the integration of technology, in today's interconnected world where technology is playing a very important role.
Absolutely.
So in your business and, making it to the next level and having this mainstream, So what was the role technology played to enhance the
Technology is
capability?
a game changer, man. It's a game changer, not just for the children on the spectrum. It's a game changer for everyone. You know, we have now AI. Now I don't go on the Google to like kind of look for answers or something. I just go to ChatGPT and just kind of write down anything I want to know, and then I just get an answer. We use a lot of technologies and devices for non-verbal children, you know, like AAC, which is like a really good device as well for children who doesn't have like any language, or you know, they don't even have the words or vocabulary. We also use high resmus for like, you know, data collections, because AB is a very data driven therapy. We just kind of jot down and then mark all the data and everything on high resmus instead of doing it manually. Back in the days, they used to do this manually, and then now the technology is like changing within months, and like, you know, something new comes up. I buy like a phone, and there is another phone coming up. So yes, it makes a lot of difference, and it's really helping and supporting us in a lot of way. I mean, there are good and bads of everything. You know, there are pros and cons of this AI and technologies, but I feel that, you know, if you use it in the right way, it works well, and it just improves and helps and supports as well.
So you mentioned AI. So what do you think about the adoption already? Of course, you mentioned some of the tools you are using.
Mm-hmm.
So because you adopted AI and you're already using in your business.
Yeah.
So have you seen the significant progress in your business
Absolutely.
as exponential growth?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we use now AI for lots of things, even report writing as well. You know, it works really well, because we know that report writing is a time-consuming thing. You know, and if you use technologies and then, you know, the AIs and stuff, it's quicker, it's much more advanced. It's help and support all the staff as well, you know, who's writing down those things, you know, for hours and hours, you know, so they can just quickly kind of do that. They're like, you know, simple and basic things like spell checks, grammar and stuff like that, you know, so it really helps. So yes, definitely, it is really helping us in a lot of ways, yeah.
Yes. Of course, come back again that then we touch about your journey and how you transform in the mainstream and this awareness, this new concept, challenges, comes to the innovation, technology. So what next?
Well,
so what do you think about?
I don't want to stop here. I don't want to stop here. Well,
Yes.
we have goals, and you know, what I see now is that, you know, I learn as my son grows, you know, and then everything is about him and the children who are growing with him, you know, that what's going to be next for them. Now they are like, he's in year 8 now. There are other children who just kind of had this journey for 4 to 5 years with us, you know. Now they're growing up, they're becoming a teenager. What's going to be the next step for them? So when I think about that, you know, I think about that now we should be doing this. So I feel that vocational training is one of the things which I really want to touch. This is something which I have it in mind for a very long time, and I think I've done it. I've said it many times in, like, you know, on a social media platform as well, that vocational training is that teaching children, you know, training them for the future, training them for the life skills, you know, like teaching them how to work in a cafe, or like learning some sort of a skills which can help and support them, you know, in the future. These are the things I want to touch now. And then, you know, we of course need support with the financial. I have to see lots of things, financial support, you know, where we can just do this, you know, how we're going to execute this whole thing. Plus what I want, and I wish that, you know, that people don't take this, that, you know, special need children are just, we're doing them a favor by including them into an inclusion. We want this world to accept these children as that it is their fair right, you know, to be part of the inclusion, to be part of the society, not just, nobody's doing a favor to them, but we just kind of empower the potential, the maximum potential. And that's what I see, that, you know, this is what we should be doing.
2 points. One is you mentioned about vocational training. I think that's amazing, and of course you can also collaborate with CyberWaze. We are also started vocational training in collaboration with universities in Dubai to bridging the gap between professional and academic.
Okay.
Because when the students, and I think the same gap what I see in your journey also when you provide that. Secondly, when you mention about vocational training and all those things, do you think that any message, of course there must be a message you want to give the parents who are listening, that about the autism and with the behavior of the kid, and if they have someone in their house, if they are suffering of this, how they can take benefit from, of course, this podcast, and any message directly you can give them, because it will go to the mainstream and people will listen.
Absolutely. I meet a lot of parents every day. I speak to a lot of them. Some are like, the very emotionally charged conversation which I have with them, which is sometimes makes me emotional as well. But I just want to say autism is not a disease. It's just looking at the world a different way. These children need our support. They need our love. Accept them the way they are. Don't try to change them. I never try to change my son. I just want to accept him the way he is and just adapt his lifestyle, the way he looks at things, and then it will be a good world, if everybody starts to think that way. So don't lose hope. There are, it's not like back in the 1920s when nobody knew about this thing. There's a lot of things out there. There are a lot of therapies out there. We are here to support them. So don't lose hope, and they're gonna have a very, very normal life in future.
Well, definitely, if companies like Small Steps and the entrepreneurs like you and their collaboration in this industry, I think there is a bright future. And the trend what you are setting, and the amount of hard work you are doing in mainstream and collaboration. So I mean, this is something very amazing, and I can see that there are a lot of changes will come and a lot of collaboration you will do. Mm-hmm. So thank you so much for having here, and it's been really a pleasure to have you, and wish you good luck for your future endeavors.
I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you.